Today we're going to be ranking evolutions on how annoying they are to play against as a Zap bait player. And obviously a lot of people have ranked these as like the best to worst. We're not going to be doing quite, bless you, my little dog just sneezed. We're not going to be doing quite specifically on how good it is, but like I said, how annoying it is to play against. So first off, we got the Musketeer evolution, which is an interesting evolution, especially with how the heroic is out now. It's one of those evolutions that when I put a princess or a dark goblin in the back, it can completely snipe from the opposite lane of the map. So it is an annoying evolution, but on the other hand, it's only used in Hog Rider decks at the moment. It's really not that versatile outside of that because again, you can play some heavier decks that it's just kind of pointless to have in there versus other evolutions. So while it is annoying, because I rarely see it, I feel like it's kind of pointless to have in that category because it's just such one of those evolutions that it is like sucks to play against at times, but it's a two cycle. You only can get basically one really, let's say, kill with it to take snipe your opponent's troop. And for that, I'm just going to put it middle of the pack at the eh. Next up, we have the Knight, and the Knight's an interesting one because the shield that the Knight has is very annoying to get through. But I will say the Knight's shield it's pretty easy to get around because it's only a 3 elixir card and it doesn't do a lot of damage. So with a swarm unit like the Skarmy or even dropping an Inferno Tower, which the Inferno Tower will kill the knight and stay alive, so it stays up for a longer period of time, it's pretty easy to take care of. The one thing that the knight does have on its side though is it can tank for other troops. So if you put the knight down and something's weaker behind it, like a goblin gang if you will, it can do a lot of damage. But again, even in something like a Hog Rider cycle deck, you rarely see something like in the Knight because people often opt for something cheaper like the Elixir Golem or the Elixir Golem, the Ice Golem. So the Knight is one of those cards that it can be used in certain decks, but you don't see it very often. The evolution's not that overpowered, and all it really does is give it an extra shield and a little bit more health. So it's pretty manageable and it's not the most annoying card there is. Honestly, I would even say it's probably down into the not bad category. If somebody's running the Evolution Knight, I'm not going to be nearly as upset as some of these other cards. Next, we got the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight's evolution is honestly worse than the Mega Knight itself. The Mega Knight is a very easy card to counter. It's not very skillful either. I play Mega Knight personally. It's a great card for my deck because my units are so cheap and so easy to kill that the Mega Knight gives me a great option to switch things up if they put down heavier troops or even something like the Evo Witch. Like the Evo Witch is easily countered by the Mega Knight, and for that reason, I really like having it in my deck, but I would never use the Evolution Mega Knight. I think the Evolution Mega Knight is kind of pointless. And all it really does is it throws troops around. So the best use for it realistically would be against a bigger deck like a Golem deck or an Elixir Golem deck where you don't want it to touch your tower. And even in that sense, like you're better off using the Evolution Mega Knight in something like a 2v2 battle. I don't really mind Evolution Mega Knight. I counter Mega Knight with the Inferno Tower anyways, so it's a positive elixir trade, and because it can't punch towers away from it, like it's kind of a pointless evolution in my mind. I think it's one of the worst evolutions, but again, we're talking about my deck specifically and how I counter some of these evolutions, and the Mega Knight, in my opinion, is just eh. The Lumberjack. The Lumberjack has got to be one of the worst evolutions in the game for how annoying it is. It spawns in a troop when it dies, and you cannot get rid of that troop whatsoever. It is an invisible ghost that does an insane amount of damage, and if you get that evolution close enough to your tower, you will lose half of your tower in the blink of an eye. It might be one of the most. We're gonna put in hated just because it's quite easy to get the lumberjack away from your tower and then kill it. So that way the evolution part of it doesn't attack your tower. But at the same time, if they have arrows or zap or anything, I put down a Skarmy in the middle of the map, it can easily take care of that and then rush my tower. It's a double-edged sword because it's easy to kill, but it's also easy to counter the counters I have for the lumberjack. So I'm gonna put it in hated for the time being, and we're gonna move on to the Inferno Dragon. I've never had a problem with the Inferno Dragon. I know that it was cracked when it came out. I know it's still pretty good now. but it's just so easy to counter with the cards that I have. I'll put down a skeleton barrel and that thing will just follow the skeletons to eternity. It will take care of the skeleton barrel, but the skeletons pop out, and what are you going to do? Even the Dark Goblin can counter the Elixir or the Inferno Dragon. I think the Inferno Dragon's just, against my deck, it's not a problem. So I'm going to put it in Please Use. Next up, we have the Royal Ghost. Now, the Royal Ghost was definitely one of the cards that was absolutely broken when it came out. Now, however, it did get nerfed and it's not as bad, but it's still brutal to deal with. There's no question about that. I don't like dealing with its soldiers, and especially if they go invisible, they just do so much damage. You know, I can't really counter it with a miner, just because the miner will get hit by the Royal Ghost, the companions come down, and it kills the miner in an instant, and then it starts heading for the tower. It's one of the harder Evos to counter, but now that the nerf came in, it's not as bad. You could say it's unreal, but I'm going to leave it hated for now. Maybe we'll change it. Next up, we have the P.E.K.K.A. And the P.E.K.K.A. evolution it's kind of annoying, but it's also kind of like, eh. Like, if you put something in front of it, it can be a real problem. But again, I run Inferno Tower. It's really not a problem to deal with. But even if, like, I put down a Skarmy, the P.E.K.K.A. gains health for everything that it kills. So it can simultaneously gain health while it's dying. And if something, it gives it enough time for my opponent to throw arrows or a zap, a fireball, whatever, at the P.E.K.K.A. and stop my counterattack from it. So it's one of those that's like, it can be annoying, but realistically, it's really not that bad. We might just put it right here for the time being, because honestly, it's really not that bad. Next up is the Goblin Giant. The Goblin Giant, for obvious reasons. I mean, it's the worst evolution in the game right now. It got nerfed into oblivion. Let's just GG's go next, which we have the Executioner. The Executioner's got to be up there in the hated category. The knockback is brutal. It slices and dices. The Executioner in general against my deck it's a force to be reckoned with, to be honest. So it's definitely going to be in the hated category. Maybe could go unreal, but probably not. And then we're going to go next up to the Electro Dragon. Now, the Electro Dragon evolution chains, which is really annoying for me, but with the new nerf that it had, with the nerfs that it has had, it's not as good as it once was. So it's definitely an annoying card to deal with, but really it's only annoying when it's behind an Elixir Golem with that Battle Healer deck, and that's pretty much the only deck that it's in to begin with at this point. So it's annoying, but it's very much deal withable, because I can just throw Vines and a Skarmy down, or even just a Dark Goblin on its own in the middle of the map. It'll take care of it. It's definitely a manageable Evo, but again, it is very annoying with the Electro stimulant that it throws out there, the chain reaction, if you will. Evolution Witch is next, and Evolution Witch is an interesting one because it is really annoying, but it's only annoying if you don't have Mega Knight in rotation. Like I said, I use Mega Knight to kill Evolution Witch every time. I'll literally save up just to let anything that's in front of the witch get to the tower and then take out the witch, which makes a great counterattack, because the Mega Knight will kill the witch in literally 2 hits, 3 hits. It's so overpowered. The witch is definitely annoying, though, with the fact that it heals itself, but I feel like it's gotten nerfed with the skeleton nerf that it got in November, so it's not as powerful as it was. It's a good Evo, but with the deck that I run, it's not that crazy. Next up, we have the Drill, and the Drill is one of those Evos that you rarely see it at this point. It is better than it used to be, but honestly, all things considered, it's really not that bad of an Evo to go up against. Yeah, it does a little bit of damage. Yeah, it's a little annoying. Maybe we could put it in the category, just because there's not really a good way of countering it. Like, you can drop a Skarmy on it, but the Skarmy will die when it pops up. You can do the Mega Knight on it, and that'll take care of it pretty well. Outside of that, you kind of have to Dark Goblin to it or something like that. It can be annoying, but all things considered, it's one of those evolutions that, you can deal with it quite well, and it's a two cycle evolution, so it's really not that bad. Next up, we have the Hunter, and the Hunter is another interesting one, just in the sense that everybody got it for free for Black Friday. Everybody has it, to put it simply, but not everybody uses it, because the trapping aspect of it's interesting. I would say this is just another one that's just like, I do dislike this evolution if I have a big push coming in, just because it can easily stop, bigger troops like the Mega Knight or even if I throw a scarmy barrel, a skeleton barrel, it could stop it in its tracks, which is tough. But at the same time, because it's really only hitting that one troop, it's pretty easy to counter the hunter. So all things considered, it is annoying, but it's really not that bad to deal with. So I just put it there. Next up, we have the baby dragon, which got nerfed, not into oblivion, but being a 2-cycle evolution, and it's speeding up troops, but not a crazy amount. I mean, the baby dragon evolution is just one of those things where it's like, is it annoying a little, but it's really not that bad. I mean, it's very counterable. It's not like the next thing we're going to talk about. It's not really like a win condition type of evolution. It's fine. I don't really mind playing against it one way or another. Next, though, we have the Goblin Barrel, and the Goblin Barrel is disgusting. This is definitely one of the most unreal evolutions in the game. It's impossible to counter without wasting elixir. You have to spend more elixir than the Goblin Barrel itself costs to counter this fully. So pretty much needless to say, you are losing elixir every time they throw this, or taking hits on your tower every time your opponent throws this. It's one of those where you just kind of have to just accept that your tower is going to get hit and try to protect the tower with less health in that sense. Next, we have the Evolution Skeleton Army, which is one of the best evolutions in the game. It's one of my personal favorites. It's an evolution that I use. And it is, for me, it's just Because here's the thing. Actually, I'm going to even drop it down to not bad. Evolution Skarmy is countered by arrows and vines. If you didn't know this, if you have vines, vines goes for the troop with the most health for 3 different troops. And the general has more health than the actual skeletons. So as long as you put vines on the skeleton army and there's not 3 other troops that have more health than the general, it will always pick the general to lock onto, which means that skeleton army just turns into a normal skeleton army instead of the evolution skeleton army, and basically counters that evolution with just having to use vines. So for me, it's really not that bad to deal with. You're going to spend a little bit more elixir to deal with the rest of the skeleton army, granted, but at the same time, it's not as crazy overpowered as, some people have to deal with it if they don't have arrows or vines. Next up, we have the Evolution Wall Breakers, which is the most broken card in the game. There's no question about it. Even with the new nerf it got, it's uncounterable, period. I mean, it is counterable, but it's uncounterable without doubling, tripling, quadrupling the amount of elixir it costs. It's a 2 elixir card. It's a 2-cycle evolution, and it's still way too overpowered. I don't think I need to talk too much about it, but yeah, this card is, genuinely put down a tower and just chalk it up, because you're going to lose elixir trying to defend this thing. Next up, though, we have the Royal Hogs, which the Royal Hogs are honestly an annoying troop to deal with because of the death damage. If they didn't have death damage, it wouldn't be that bad. But with the death damage, especially because I only have Inferno Tower as my tower, the death damage just takes this thing out and keeps moving forward. It's an annoying evolution. I don't think it's broken, but you're almost always getting a positive trade using these. So it's just a little annoying to deal with. Next up, though, we have the Wizard, and the Wizard's also something that you can counter with vines. If you drop vines on top of it, it'll take care of that shield. And while it does suck to get the splash damage that the Wizard has, you could also just drop a Mega Knight on this. Again, a lot of these cards I can just put a Mega Knight down on and just be done with, which is really nice. Another reason why I put that card in that deck, because it counters a lot of the evolutions in this list. But at the same time, it can be a little annoying to deal with. I'm going to put this... The thing is, I like, it's one of those things that a normal Wizard you can counter with a skeleton army if you place the skeleton army the right way. But the evolution Wizard, the shield pops and kills everything around it. So it's definitely an annoying card to deal with. You're going to spend more elixir than the Wizard costs to fully counter. And for that reason, I'm just going to leave it in annoying. Next up, we have the Evolution Furnace. The Evolution Furnace is super annoying to deal with. I'd say it might even be a hated card in my opinion, because it spawns so many firecrackers, and especially when you're playing ranked, you're taking tower damage. You can princess and sort of deal with it, but even the princess will die eventually, and then you're going to take tower damage because it'll survive both the princess and your tower shooting at the same time. So you're going to have to spend more elixir than you want to counter this thing, or you're going to take a lot of tower damage. Now, you could drop an Inferno Tower, and that will help, but at the same time, it's just a very annoying evolution to deal with. I honestly say it's hated just because of the splash damage and the fact that it spawns units that also do splash damage, and your tower can't kill before it hits the tower. So in that aspect, I really dislike this evolution. It's not the most broken evolution in the world. There are definitely worse ones, but for me specifically, using cheaper cards that, die very quickly to the splash damage, this card really does suck to play against. Next up, we got the Battle Ram evolution. This evolution is nuts, man. It is pretty easy to take out if you have the right cards in rotation. I'm just going to put it at annoying because an Inferno Tower does take care of it in most scenarios, or I'll just, again, drop a Mega Knight on it if I have that in rotation. But it can make its way to the tower and just do an absurd amount of damage. And then once it breaks, you got two Barbarians raged up charging in after you. It's annoying. I mean, this is one of those cards where it's really hard to defend against unless you're playing for that defense, and you definitely can do that. But with the bait type of deck that I play, you're kind of taking risks. And, I can't just drop a Scar Army on this like I could a normal Battle Ram and get a positive elixir trade because it just rams through everything in its way. So definitely one of those cards that you got to be careful with. Next on the list, though, is going to be the Valkyrie. And the Valkyrie has got to be probably the most just biggest counters to a push you could possibly get. The only real way to counter the Evolution Valkyrie is with a Skarmy and a pre-popped Vines. That's like unless you have like the Evolution Skarmy, of course. If you have the Evo Skarmy up, you can Evo Skarmy and then do Vines, and the skeletons will kill the Valkyrie fast enough where it doesn't get, a second swing off. You could also just put a Mega Knight down and that will take care of it. The best way to deal with the Valkyrie, truth be told, is using an Inferno Tower, but you're losing elixir on that trade, and if they have anything else, you're kind of wasting that Inferno Tower. Granted, an Inferno Tower will kill a Valkyrie before the Valkyrie gets to the Inferno Tower, so in that mind, it is easy to counter with the Inferno Tower, but it's very rare. Nobody's playing Valkyrie as a win condition, so that, if they have an RG, a Hog Rider, or whatnot, you're wasting that Inferno Tower for the Evolution Valkyrie. So it's one of those cards that's just unreal to go up against. It did get nerfed, but even with that nerf, it's still so good. Next card we got is the Diddy Cage, the Goblin Cage. I mean, dude, this is like, go ahead. Honestly, it's kind of pointless in the sense that a lot of my cards are just longer range cards like the Princess and the Dark Goblin. And then even when I have some of those shorter ranged cards like the Mega Knight or, what else would I even throw down at it? I mean, the Skarmy, I guess, but it's only taking one skeleton in. So it's one of those things where, like, I would honestly just throw a skeleton barrel at it and just kind of let it do its thing. I don't really care about the Diddy Cage. It's not that bad, genuinely. I think it used to be absolutely busted. But even against my deck, because it's a bait deck, it's really not that big of a deal to deal with. So it is what it is, not that bad. Next up, though, we have the Dark Goblin, one of my favorite evolutions that I actually stopped using because I've been using the Skeleton Barrel evolution. This one is because I have Vines. Solely because I have Vines. It's very easy to deal with Vines. It gets a ton of value if you don't deal with it. For example, you put down a skeleton army, it shoots one shot at the front of the skeleton army and it all runs through that. And I mean, it'll take out basically the entire push. So the Evolution Dark Goblin is a really good evolution against bait decks, but at the same time, if you put down Evolution Dark Goblin and Dark Goblin at the same time, they'll both kill each other regardless because they're both going to shoot two shots and then obviously trade out. So it's one of those where, like, it's very easy to deal with unless you have a big push going. But even if I throw down a Mega Knight and it starts shooting at the Mega Knight, all I have to do is throw Vines down and it'll kill the Evolution Dark Goblin. So it's really not that bad because I feel like I'd rather play against this than most of these other ones in this category. So I honestly kind of feel like this should get brought down to, like, not that bad maybe. That's fine right there. Next up, we have the Evolution Royal Recruits. these are insanely easy to deal with for the only aspect that if you put the Mega Knight down in the very center of your side, all of the royal recruits will come in and collapse on the Mega Knight, and the Mega Knight will take them all out by itself. And if you have help from another troop like a Dark Goblin or a Skarmy, even better. The towers and the Mega Knight kind of go crazy and just take care of it all, so you don't have to worry about it too much. The only time the royal recruits get hectic is if they have a huge push coming in and they're able to get these down with other things like royal hogs or a giant or something like that that's just taking up more space. Otherwise, these are just really easy to counter with the Mega Knight. It's so simple. So it's one of those where I don't really mind it at all. Honestly, the royal recruits I've never really had too much of an issue with. Sometimes it can get a little stuffy in your pocket, if you will, but normally it's really not that much of a big deal. Next up, we have the Royal Giant. The Royal Giant is really good right now. It is, and this is one of those that's just like, because I have the Inferno Tower to easily counter this, but at the same time, it does a lot of damage, and it does like this area radius of damage when it shoots its cannon. So it does damage to its surrounding area, which will take out a Skarmy on its own, which that sucks. But most of the time, they're not running two win conditions, if you will. So all you really have to do is place down a Tesla, and that is GG's. So it's one of those that it really can get annoying if you're not prepared or they have a big push with like a witch behind it and your Inferno Tower locks onto the witch. The best way to play a Royal Giant against an Inferno Tower is to put the Royal Giant down and then put bats in the middle, so that way the Inferno Tower locks onto the bats, the Royal Giant kills the Inferno Tower, and then you're like, oh crap, what do I do? But in most scenarios, it's pretty easy to counter that anyway, so it's because it can be difficult, but most scenarios it's not that bad to deal with. Next up, we have the Barbarians Evo that I don't know if anybody even uses. I've rarely, if ever, see this. Just not bad. Again, it's one of those that's just a Skarmy will take care of this. I mean, a Princess can take care of most of it depending on how much time it has to shoot. I don't really care. Next up, we have Tesla, which Tesla is very annoying to deal with. It's honestly, I'd say hated. It's one of my least favorite towers to go up against because of the effect that it has on, all my troops. It can wipe out a push by itself, which is kind of brutal. And a lot of people use the Tesla with the Expo, and I despise playing against the Expo. So for that reason, it's pretty annoying. It's not the end of the world, but it's definitely a hated evolution to go up against. Next, we have the Evolution Mortar. I hate playing against Mortar players. It's definitely, I wouldn't say it's unreal, but I would definitely say it's hated because the fact that it spawns a Goblin in is so annoying. If I put down an Inferno Tower, it locks on, it shoots the Goblin at my Inferno Tower. It's kind of easy to just zap the Inferno Tower, and then it starts locking onto the Goblin. It's very annoying to deal with, especially if you're just watching your tower get hits on. They put a giant in front of it. Now your troops are locked onto the giant. The tower gets hit. A goblin pops out, starts stabbing your tower, but your troops are all focused at the giant. It can be really annoying to deal with. I would say it's one of my more hated evolutions to deal with. Next up, we have the Firecracker, which might be the universal most hated evolution in the game. The fact that you can put this on one side, not even touching the bridge, shoot to the middle of the map and spray hits your other side tower is unreal. This evolution is so freaking stupid. I mean, I'd say because I can kill it with vines, it is what it is. It's not that big of a deal. But actually, in ladder, if your Firecracker is one level higher than the vines you're using. So, for example, I have level 15 vines. If somebody puts down a level 16 Firecracker, I can't kill it. It is unbelievable that vines don't kill one level up. So, especially in that situation, Firecracker's unreal. I hate this card. I hate this evolution. I wish it didn't exist. Next up, we have the probably one of the best evolutions in the game right now, the Skeleton Barrel. It's got to be unreal. I don't think there's any question about it. This evolution is so difficult to deal with in a positive elixir trade. There's just, oh man, you better pray you got some splash damage. You better pray you have arrows. You better pray for anything because this evolution is busted. I don't even feel like I need to talk about it because everybody knows. And I mean, that's why I use it, of course. Next up, we have the Evo Cannon, which the Evo Cannon's really solid, but they did nerf it a little bit, so it does a little less damage. I'm going to put this thing in annoying because this can do a lot of damage. If I have a Dark Goblin and, you know, like my Princess, and I have something in front of it like a Miner tanking, this evolution can kill everything behind it, which sucks. So it can kind of single-handedly take down one of my pushes. And because I don't use Firecracker, the nerf doesn't really affect me too much. So yeah, it's definitely annoying, but it's not crazy. The archers. The archers should be in a please use category because they are just one of the most mid, honestly, Evos in the game. It's an evolution you get for free in the first few arenas. That is, if you haven't been playing for a long time. Older players will know that you didn't get this evolution, even though it is free now. Here's the thing. We're going to move this all the way up here for one reason. You will never see archers or even evolution archers in any deck at the top of the ladder or in ranked besides the Expo deck. And for that reason, it's unreal because the Expo deck is the worst deck in the game. I despise the Expo so much. I hate the Expo. I hate everything that stands for it. Worst card in the game. I despise it. It sucks. So in that situation, we have to put it right here because that's the only time you even see archers is in an Expo deck. So the evolution itself should be down here. Oh, should be down here. In reality, it's up here because of what it's correlated with. Next up, we have the Snowball. Snowball's a really good evolution. I think it's I don't know if it's underrated, maybe underappreciated, undervalued perhaps. It's a really good evolution, especially if you have cheaper cards. I think the Snowball is probably right here in the ranking. It's annoying to play against, I won't lie, especially because it can just gobble up all my troops, send them back with half health, and they're all... I like to think of the bait that I play as a little strategic in the spots that I play them at. So when you can just snowball everything up together, troops get in front of each other that shouldn't be. Some troops get behind that shouldn't be. They slow it down. They can get around each other. So it kind of just resets everything that I just did. And for that situation, I'm going to put it in the annoying category. Next up, we have Zap. Zap is one that I don't see often, but is getting used more and more. And this is one of those that it's just like, like, I don't mind Zap, especially if they're not running, you know, if they're running like a big spell in Zap, it's fine. If they're running 3 spells, it's a problem. Evo Zap is really good. It can kill a princess, it can kill a Dark Goblin, and in that sense, you're getting value. But like at the same time, I play Zap bait for a reason. I have so many things in my deck that you can zap, and if you waste your zap, you might be screwing yourself. If you zap my skeleton army and then I throw a skeleton barrel, what are you going to do? If you kill my princess with a zap, but then my Inferno Tower locks onto your giant, you need to reset the Inferno Tower. So in that sense, it's like, it's really good, and yeah, it can be annoying, but at the same time, because I have so much zap bait, it's like, it is what it is. Next up, we have Bats. Bats... I mean, unfortunately, I feel like they kind of got nerfed. They can get I can't even say they can get annoying because as long as they're not behind something, a princess will take care of them in 2 shots, which again is 1 extra shot if they get into like that fury state. Otherwise, I mean, the tower is just going to kill them. A Dark Goblin will kill them and then go hit the tower. I mean, maybe I should put them in not bad because like they can... a tiny little bit if they get put behind something and then like the princess has to shoot twice, like, but even if they get put down right off rip and the princess shoot once, it'll take out all of them. I'm gonna put them down here. Honestly, it is what it is. I don't really care about bats. Like, I mean, they're really not that difficult to deal with. They're pretty easy to deal with. So there you go. Next up, Bomber. I don't even know if I've ever played against Evolution Bomber. Genuinely, I don't know if I've ever played against. I must have lower in the ladder, but once I hit like 10,000 trophies, I don't think I've ever seen Bomber. So yeah. Anyways, I mean, I don't think we need to speak too much about that. Next up, we have Evolution Ice Spirit. It can be a little annoying just because it can pause your troop if it's doing something. So, like if I have a Dark Goblin, you throw down an Evolution Ice Spirit, you can just stop the Dark Goblin in its tracks, and then something else can kill my Dark Goblin. Same thing with the Princess. Mega Knight's also similar. You know, you can kind of use it to strategically bring things to the center of the map, pause it, get some elixir back, and then deal with that counter. I mean, it's really not that over. It's definitely not overpowered. It's definitely not that good. But it's one of those that like there are niche instances where it can be annoying. And finally, we have the evolution skeletons, which honestly, I've played against evolution skeletons quite a bit, and I've only ever once had an issue with them, and that's like 1 out of 100. We'll put them up here just to give them a little bit of credit because they can take out a Mega Knight if you place them correctly. But at the same time, like if if for whatever reason I don't have a troop that can deal with the evolution skeletons, I'm just gonna vines them. Like I'm not even gonna deal with it. Like I'll just be done with it. It is what it is. But 99% of the time, evolution skeletons is never an issue because of the Dark Goblin, because of the Princess, even throwing a Mega Knight down, or just doing vines, genuinely. So yeah, that's the list. What do you guys think? I mean, there's a lot of evolutions in the game. We're only gonna get more. I feel like this is an interesting way of looking at it because if we look at it right now, like the Royal Giant, the Zap, even like the Skeleton Army, like all of three of these are some of the best evolutions in the game. The archers are obvious. This really shouldn't be down here. Let's just leave it down there. Nah, I'm sticking with what I said. I hate seeing archers. If you see archers, run. Not really, but seriously, I think this is such a crazy way of doing this list, but I honestly had a lot of fun doing it. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys have any changes you would make, let me know. Again, this is my personal list out of the way that I play Clash, which is with a deck that is primarily designed around bait. So, I mean, you guys can see the deck. Tell me what you think in the comments, but yeah, otherwise, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I have been streaming. I don't know if you guys have noticed. Some of you have already stopped in the chat and said hi. I'm going to try to stream every couple days throughout the week, early in the morning, 9, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, if I can, of course. And yeah, stop by, say hello. Otherwise, hope you guys have a great day. Take care. Peace out.